We are here at the Turkey, Wild Turkey Jimmy Russell Distilling Company Experience. This is their new building. It just opened recently. Hey, Deckman on the Rock fans, friends, and loyal members. Homer and Amy are doing a tour for you guys at the Wild Turkey Experience. And yes, you guys probably just said, well, how the hell is it Homer and Amy if I just saw Dave? Well, you know what? We were running late that morning, but if you knew us, you'll know that's what we always do. And I didn't get any good video of the facility, so I remembered I went there a month or so ago with Dave and James, and I'm just going to use some of that. Plus, Dave took some of this video, and his camera is way better than mine, and he's pretty better at doing this stuff than me, so this is where we're at. So anyway, we just looked at the Kentucky Spirit and Rare Breed rooms, which are just the tasting rooms, and this is the foyer, the entranceway. Here's a walkway down to the gift shop, and this is a pretty cool wall. It's got TVs that talk about the time and experiences of Wild Turkey over the years, and then they got a wall of 101 and a wall of Russell's 10. It's pretty cool. You know, how nice would it be to have a place like that of your own? And this is their gift shop. This is where you can buy all the cool Wild Turkey stuff. And they also have a bar down here, just a tasting bar, just get shots and drinks or whatever. Nothing really big like a sit-down bar, but just have a shot of this and that. Here's a little display wall of other common everyday shelf stuff. There's Russell's 10, Russell's Single Barrel, the Rise, the Kentucky Spirits, Rare Breed, stuff like that, the 101s. Here's their cool little gifts and stuff. Kentucky Spirit, they did not have this available when we were there. Too bad, because I'd love to have got Jimmy to sign it. That was a Tyrone bottle. Y'all know I love the Tyrone stuff, and the Camp Nelson. They didn't have that either. There's old Long Branch, and then some American Honey. There's a Rare Breed Rye. So, you know, they have everything here that you could get on the shelf, and the prices are reasonable. The 101 Rye, the 101 regular Wild Turkey, some shirts and stuff. Different types of Glencairns and cups, and the ice pucks, non-ice pucks, the cold things you freeze to them in your drink so you don't dilute it. Different kind of cups and glasses and shot glasses. Just about everything you'd expect in a gift shop at a place like this. All right, this tour's about to get started. I'm going to tell you right now that it gets really loud in there, so I'm doing some voiceover on some of these things. You can't even hear the tour guide, Bo, who's a great dude. If you ever get to go to Wild Turkey, get up with him and talk. He's a great guy. He got a lot of information. Right there's the Tyrone warehouses. It's called Tyrone because it's on Tyrone Road. And so anything you see that says TY on a bottle, this is where they were warehoused, and that's some really good stuff. So let's get started. We'll jump in here and listen the best you can with Bo because the volume isn't the best at times. All right, guys, there's a couple things I want you to keep in mind before this video really kicks off. Is this video, I asked Bo permission to video this stuff before. So, you know, I usually go with the ask for forgiveness instead of permission, but I really have a lot of respect for Bo as a person and Wild Turkey itself and the Russell family. So I felt like I needed to ask up front. Doesn't mean I don't have respect for the people I don't video. I just feel sometimes it's easier to go the forgiveness and permission route. Anyway, he told me just to clip here and there and not to do the whole thing. Obviously, because why would you go to Wild Turkey and experience this if you can just watch it on YouTube? So this is a video of some of the process, some of the parts, some of the things they do at Wild Turkey, but it is definitely not the whole experience. And obviously, anything you watch on TV is nothing like doing it in person. Take away what you want from this. Hopefully, you use this as a reason to spark your interest to go to Kentucky and experience Wild Turkey. I think Wild Turkey is one of the best distillers and blenders of bourbon in the country, and this is just a little teaser of why. So take a chance, go to Kentucky. There's a lot of other great things you can do in this town, in Louisville, what I like to call the Bourbon Triangle area. So go there and check it out and enjoy yourself. Have a great time. Enjoy this video. At the end of this tour, Bo was so gracious enough to sit down with us and do a quick interview. So that will not be on this video. Keep an eye out for it. It'll be coming out soon. It's just a quick one, and it was a good interaction with him. We got a lot of cool information. It was an awesome time. I really appreciate him doing that for us. So keep an eye out for that coming later. And another thing we got to do is we sat at the bar and we tasted the 15-year and 13-year Russell's Reserve. And that video will be coming out also. So please keep an eye out for that one. Thank you guys for watching and enjoy the Wild Turkey video.
I'm going to try to beat y'all to death with the same information we've already had. But that will be our corn, that tallest one. The other two will be the rye and the barley. What I want you to take away from that when you look at those, when all three of those are completely full, that is 1 week of production. We're going to go through all three of those in only 1 week, making Wild Turkey right here. To give you an idea of the production that we're doing. All right? To make Wild Turkey. Now, one thing important here is to know that we've never changed anything that Jimmy's ever done, right? Still making it the exact same way he's always done it. One thing about that is, when he started in 1954, they'd never heard of GMOs. They didn't even know what one was, right? So we're still using non-GMO grain because that's the way he has always made whiskey. So the corn we use, that is a #2 den corn. And it comes from Baghdad, Kentucky. Now, I grew up in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, up in the hills. We always call that field corn. That's what we grow in the summer to feed the animals in the winter, right? Never heard it called den corn until I got in this business. I finally asked the old guy who works here one day, I said, "Can you tell me why they keep calling that den corn?" The old guy looked at me and grinned. He said, "Yeah, it's got dents in the end of the kernel." That was the most disappointing answer that anyone ever heard. How yeast grows on a real basic level is easy. When yeast grows, every one cell becomes 2. So it literally doubles in size every time it grows. What that means is, in about 72 hours, we can fill up all 3 of those big 3,000-gallon tubs with our yeast product. We don't do this every day because we don't need to. We do it twice a week because out of what goes into the fermenters out here, it's only going to be about 2%. Just don't need that much of it. Right. So now, understanding fermentation on a basic level is pretty easy too. All that's going on with something fermenting, the yeast is consuming the sugar, and then it's putting off CO2 and ethanol. What we're after is the alcohol.
All right, guys, so this is going to be the voiceover time. This is extremely loud in here. This is the fermenting room. And if any of you have been on a tour before, you know what they're doing in here. It's what he just said. The yeast is eating the sugar, creating CO2 and ethanol. It's really hot coming out of those things, but the actual fermentation itself process is cold. It's really cool in here, and it smells absolutely amazing. Those containers hold 30,000 gallons each, and they sit, I think he said, for 3 to 4 days, and then they empty them, and then they go to the distilling. 30,000 gallons is a damn a lot of freaking whiskey. So you can imagine how much they are making here at Wild Turkey. And being that they sell a ton of it, you wouldn't be surprised. But do you think that since they do one mash bill for everything they do, it's just the warehousing that makes the difference, that maybe we could get some more Russell's 13 and Russell's 15? But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about how awesome Wild Turkey is, and this stuff right here, guys, is a great opportunity, great fun time, and if y'all get a chance, y'all should do it. This one right here, they're just starting to empty it. It's going to the distillers, and it didn't empty very fast because it didn't go much lower than that by the time we were there, but it was really cool to see it, and definitely awesome to smell it. Bo does an awesome job explaining all the things that go on here, and he explained what this beer well was, but I don't remember. So go to Wild Turkey and check it out. The sensory lab, he gets into this right now, and again, you still can't hear what he says, but there's White Dog over on the left table and barreled stuff over here on the right. They are tasting it to decide what it's going to be. So the White Dog, he says it's funny because they're doing it, but Jimmy says you don't need to taste the White Dog because it all tastes the same. Because until it doesn't get any tasting, doesn't change the taste until you put it in the barrel. So that's what he's explaining to us right now, and that those labels that I'm about to zoom in on, that shows you what barrel it came from. And if you get later in the video, we'll be in the rick houses, and you can see those labels on the barrels, and so they know where it came from, what part of the rick houses, and all that stuff. And sorry that you're looking at the side of my face, but for some reason I felt like I needed a video back like that. So this is, I zoom in and look at those labels. You can't see them on the video at all, so I was just telling you about it earlier, why they are there and what they're for. And this picture right here, this man sitting at the microscope is the guy that taught Jimmy Russell how to distill. So that was really cool, and Bo brought that up and talked about it a little bit. And then that was a cool picture right there of Jimmy and Eddie in the rick houses doing the tastings. Amy and I liked it, thought we'd just stick it in there. All right, guys, now we're into the still room, and this is the column still that distills all those 30s, thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons through there to give you the Wild Turkey we enjoy today. I'm not going to sit here and explain how that works. You can Google it or come to the tour and see what it's all about. Also, these are the spirit boxes that the distilled liquor comes into and do what they do. And I don't remember what that is, but here is a cool little chart that we took from Old Forester that you can look at and see where the process goes through from the grain silos all the way to the barrel. So check that out. It's really cool. And plus, you know, there's this thing that we all understand and love. It's called Google that can give you some more information on that, because I am not an expert. And if you want an expert, then you need to go see Bo and all the people in the Bourbon Triangle. Anyway, I just drank bourbon and make silly videos that hopefully y'all like.
The only one distillery would have been sitting. When Jimmy got here, the distillery would have been right at the end of that concrete.
I don't know if y'all can hear, but what Bo's saying is that the original distillery that was here when Jimmy got here in 1956 was sitting at the end of that concrete, and it was a small, extremely old facility that is obviously no longer there.
All right, y'all ready?
Take a whiff.
Oh, yeah. Big, deep breath when you go in here, and then watch your head, too.
Watch your head, Amy.
We're going around to the right.
She's probably the same
Laugh.
here.
Now, watch your step right here, because these plants are farther apart.
This building perfect for you. Oh shit! I almost stepped in a hole. And he said not to do that.
Spot on the property is being inside a warehouse. Can everybody hear me in the back before I start talking?
Yes, sir.
You can? All right, great. So first thing I want to tell you about, when you're looking at these barrels, you'll notice they stick out past the end of the bricks a little bit. There's a reason for that. When this thing was built in 1894, the barrels were 50-gallon barrels, and now they're 53. That's why they stick out just a little bit. And everybody knows that charred oak container rule, right? To make bourbon, it has to go into a brand new charred oak barrel. This says container in the actual rule. But that was not an original bourbon rule. That didn't come about until FDR passed his New Deal. When he passed the New Deal, evidently he was getting lobbied really hard by the lumber and coopers unions. Keep them working. So what happens? We have to use brand new barrels from that point on. Right? Now, the barrels we get, they come from Independent Stave Company, Lebanon, Kentucky. They also have a Lebanon, Missouri coopers. They don't pay me to tell you this, but if you've never visited over there, go to Lebanon, Kentucky, and take that tour at Kentucky Cooper. You'll learn more about this barrel than I can ever tell you about standing here. It's so cool to watch them put one together. Number 4 char is what we use for everything. They also call that an alligator char. That's what it's referred to. It looks like black alligator skin. That's why they call it that. Now, where do the products come from? Every barrel that gets filled up is filled up with the exact same white dog. There's no difference in any of it. So how do we get all those different flavors for those Russells and Wild Turkey products? Leave them alone. That's how you're going to get that. You're going to let them sit where they sit for their aging. For instance, up top, those will mature a lot faster. And the reason for that is evaporation. When we're talking about the 50-year-old barrels, right? Up there, your evaporation or angel share, that's different than down here. Up there, it's so hot and so dry, your angel share is mostly water up there. That's why that proof went straight up in those old barrels I was talking about. Because the water kept evaporating. So that's why you're going to use those barrels at a younger age. Like Wild Turkey 101, things of that nature, you'll go all those barrels up there. Because you can't go up there for so long. In the middle part is what Eddie Russell referred to as the center cut. So when you think about Russell's Reserve, single barrels, private barrel selections, single rick house, all that's going to come from your center cut area right there in the middle. It's still going to age. You're still going to get the heat and the cold, right? But it will be more consistent movement. It won't be so drastic like it is up top. So that's why he loves that spot. Mellows it out real nice and round, full body bourbon on that middle part. Down here on the bottom, these will be older products because it takes longer down here. You notice it's a little cooler in here than it is outside, right? You also notice how the air is almost so moist you can like grab water by reaching your hand out. That water had to go somewhere. It came down here, right? There's dirt floor underneath the barrel. Well, there's more moisture in there. You got these windows open in the summertime to get airflow moving through this brick house. What's that mean? It's going to bring humidity in with it. So by bringing that humidity in, you've got more moisture in there. So what eventually winds up happening is there's so much moisture in the air down here, the water gets stuck in the wood. Alcohol evaporates. Your angel share is completely different. These will actually proof themselves down here on the bottom as opposed to what they were doing up top. That means every section of the warehouse has a completely different flavor profile. That's how we can create different products and different flavors for you without doing anything weird with our distillate or our white dog. Because it all goes in the barrels the same. That's actually, Eddie is a genius when it comes to the barrel maturation. He knows more about barrels than anybody who's ever going to learn. He's already forgotten more. But actually, when he went in the Bourbon Hall of Fame, he went in as warehouse manager. He was not even yet a master of the distillery. So that'll tell you how much Eddie knew. But that will tell you also why Eddie figured out how he could separate the Russell stuff from the Wild Turkey stuff. Where it sits and for how long will be a completely different profile. And he knew that. So that's why he would leave them alone. Just to ensure he's going to get different products out of it. Yep. Now, when we're finished with these barrels, they're already contracted and already gone. It's ironic because when that new barrel rule came into effect, it made it a lot more expensive to make whiskey, obviously, at that point. But nowadays, these barrels are already contracted, already gone before we empty them. What means is these barrels keep creeping closer and closer and closer, being worth as much when you empty one as it is when you fill it up. It's crazy that they have figured out that whatever they can shove in the end of one of these barrels, we're going to buy it. That's what they figured out. For instance, Ireland for Irish whiskey, Jamaica for rum, Scotch, tequila. They're all using bourbon barrels now. Wine companies love these barrels. Beer companies love barrels like this. So it just depends. There's a maple syrup company up in the Northeast. They brought me a sample of their maple syrup that they had finished in a bourbon barrel. It was fantastic. It makes a really good old fashioned too.
So the bottom barrels, what does it end up doing?
It could be anything. A lot of these older barrels you'll see in Master's Keeps and things like that.
But it will end up 101 or not?
Maybe. I mean, at one point in time,
They got a taste of the
we had, they'll taste the barrels each lot every third year. They do anniversary samples to see how the barrels age. Well, at one point in time, before the pandemic, a couple of the guys who run the dump room over there, they came into the visitor center and said, what do you got going on today? Oh, we're dumping some 13-year-old barrels. I'm like, no kidding. What's that going to go into? 81. At that point in time, we were dumping 13-year-old barrels to go into Wild Turkey 81.
So I walk in the store though, and which product do you think?
Oh, you won't see those. Oh, one of these? I would say a Master's Keep or something. You're going to find the older barrels. Yeah.
How long has this one been here? Or they've been here?
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go. I'll show you how to read birthday on. I can't tell this one in particular, but I just saw some of them. Yeah, those stickers are when they sell. So these would be product
they're
barrels that
sold.
have been sold.
Okay.
That's already sold?
Yeah,
Yep,
look,
it's already
that
sold.
sticker.
Number. There's a 10.
Right.
That's your year. Now you've got the B. That's going to be your month. AB would be January, February.
Oh.
03 would be the day of the month.
Oh.
February the 3rd, 2010, that barrel was filled up.
So that's
You don't-
14 years old.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
You get the first drink.
That's my old friend of mine who used to work here. Used to tell people when they'd answer a question like that, and we have our valid drink Tory.
Amy picture in the Rick house, and now you know where I got our thumbnail picture from. And here's a quick picture of a sign that's stating the Tyrone area, and I did that because I always talk about the Tyrones and the Camp Nelsons, and I thought you'd just be cool to see a picture of it referring to the Tyrone warehouses. Alright guys, so we're moving on to our tasting, and here are the 4 bottles we get to taste today. Russell's 10, Long Branch, Wild Turkey 101, and Wild Turkey 101 Rye. So, hoping to get a Master's Keep or a Russell Reserve 13 to 15, but hey, you can't go wrong with anything Wild Turkey makes, so let's hand it over to Bo.
They've sent me to a lot of sensory training since I've been here. I probably came back with 2 things that they wanted me to come back at least with. They gave me one of the little kits to try to train my nose and all that. After about a week of that, I was like, nope, I like to drink bourbon. I ain't gonna sit around sniffing glass all day. I don't have all those notes in my brain. But what I did take away from sensory training is your taste is a memory. Your brain has experienced that before and it remembers it. That's what taste is. We don't have the same memories. We're not going to have the same taste come forward, right? It's all about this thing right here. So that's why I tell you that, is because I want you to understand that whatever you taste, you're absolutely right. Right? That's all you got to remember about that. Okay, now, I will do this though on the very first product. I will give you a couple of steps that Jimmy and Eddie would use when maybe they haven't had a bourbon before, that they would use to pull more aroma and flavor out. After that, drink it the way you want to, because that is the exact right way to drink bourbon as well. Okay?
Alright guys, that's all I'm going to do for the actual tasting itself. Like I said, go experience it, have a good time, it's worth it. Alright, here is a walk up to the actual bar area, where they have a nice seating area and a great view out there. And here is their fake still just for ambiance. It's a really nice area. This video is from the prior visit with me and Dave, and not with Amy. But it's a cool bar. Y'all should check it out if you get a chance. So obviously this is the outdoor area right outside of the bar and gift shop. I left the volume there for a minute just so y'all could hear how peaceful it is. It's really nice. It's used for events and other things like that. But yeah, the seating area, the fire pit, there's obviously a bar out there for other things. This is a sign that is right at the end of that bridge that you can see from up top. It's really cool. I believe that bridge goes over the Kentucky River, and I like that sign represents where you're going into. This is a beautiful area of Kentucky, and I really like it. And it really represents what wild turkey and bourbon and stuff is all about in this area. It's a great time. This is a wonderful place. Y'all should go check it out. If you're ever in the Kentucky Bourbon Triangle area, this is definitely a go-to place for me, and it should be for you also. Keep an eye out for the Russell's Reserve 13 and 15 comparison that we do at the bar. We figured we're never going to get to own a bottle, so we thought we'd just do it there. So check it out. It's going to be coming up soon. Last thing we did in Kentucky was got to meet Jimmy and his wife. We stopped on our way on our last day after leaving Castle and Key, heading home to see if they'd be there, and they were, and we bought a couple bottles and got them signed, and that was really cool. I've never seen a master distiller, especially one as old as he is, that sits out there almost every day and signs meets and greets and just talks. He had a cool conversation with us, and we really enjoyed it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. We appreciate every single one of you guys who takes the time to watch our videos. Also, if you haven't already done it, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell, and of course make sure to keep sipping. See y'all next time.